Imagine you're in your backyard and you hear somebody scream from the front yard for help. You make your way to the front yard and you realize that someone's laying in the middle of the street with someone else next to them. As you get close, you realize this victim is suffering from cardiac arrest. What are you going to be able to do? What kind of training have you had? Maybe none. And that patient's going to die. Every community should have a basic CPR and AED awareness class to help educate their civilians. Due to the increased trending cases of cardiac arrest in the United States, the lack of knowledgeable citizens on how to recognize the signs and symptoms of cardiac arrest, and the importance of training the community members on recognizing and acting during cardiac arrest and other emergencies, it's becoming an important issue in America today. The most common cause of death in America is cardiac arrest. The need for people to be more prepared and to act and provide crucial aid until the first responders get on scene is very important today, perhaps more than ever. According to the American Red Cross article in 2025 titled "Learn How to Save a Life," the National CPR and AED Awareness Week was established in the first week of June 1st through the 7th. This was the first step to providing awareness to the need for cardiac arrest CPR. In another article in the PubMed Central Journal in 2023, author Paul Chan interviewed over 450 medical service providers in the nation. And it was determined an average of 7 to 9 minutes was the average response time from the time the 911 dispatch system was initiated to the time the first responders got on scene. So in that 7 to 9 minutes, if CPR is not being done efficiently, the chances of that patient surviving are pretty slim to none. So, since we know now that there's increasing trending cases of cardiac arrest, and we know that citizens are typically not educated on recognizing these cardiac arrest symptoms, we know that training the community members becomes all that more important to save lives. Since the number one cause of death is cardiac arrest, where do they happen? Well, according to the American Heart Association's 2023 article, Facts and Stats data, 73.4% of those are in the home or the residence. So the need to have the knowledge ability for those citizens is that much more important. In addition to this, future growth in cities across America is putting strains on the emergency services. Recognizing potential signs of cardiac arrest can help bridge that gap and minimize the long-term effects of cardiac arrest. If a victim that's in cardiac arrest is in an area where someone next to them does not know CPR and how to recognize the signs and symptoms and provides the good CPR efficiently, that victim is going to die, especially if there's no AED available to that victim. So what if community members could save a life by recognizing and responding early? According to Dr. Julie Rush of the Good Samaritan Hospital Journal, in the article in 2022, Minutes to Live, time is muscle. And we know this because for every minute that cardiac tissue is not oxygenated proficiently, it dies. So if we train our community to overcome the insufficient knowledge of the signs and symptoms of CPR, and we educate them on what to look at and look for and how to act, the chances of us saving our life are that much greater. Now that we've determined that more people having this basic CPR awareness classes can save lives, we look at how we can put these classes together. One way we can do it is community awareness classes. in these classes, the students are given hands-on instruction on how to perform proficient CPR, and also with the AED, how to correctly place the AED pads. The students get hands-on feedback from the instructors on the proper placement of the hands, and the traditional CPR has changed a little bit, so it's easier for the common layperson or the citizen at home or just someone driving by to see something, to recognize the symptom and go right to hands on the chest to perform the CPR to perfuse that patient and buy them time. One of the other perks to having these community awareness events is further educating the public on different ways that they can make themselves safer at home, such as the older population and then the younger population. By educating them, we can minimize the potential emergencies that we're going to respond to. According to the American Heart Association 2023 article, CPR Facts and Stats, again, the 73.4% of cases are at home. So in these classes, we're going to get feedback of, hey, am I covered if I mess up and I do it wrong? Well, the Good Samaritan law covers you. It's because you're acting in good faith to help that citizen, so we don't have to worry about that. In the class, we'll discuss the watch out situations for the common person, things to look for as far as being safe, and things to look for at home and at work to prevent these common types of emergencies. So in review, we've talked about the need for communities to provide CPR and basic AED awareness for their civilians to help increase the chances of cardiac arrest survival. So in the beginning of the speech, we talked about the victim that was laying in the street suffering from cardiac arrest. The gentleman that recognized the signs and symptoms was a 16-year-old kid that had taken part in one of the fire camp classes when he was a couple years before this event. So he was able to recognize the signs and symptoms of the cardiac arrest and perform CPR after the 911 system was activated. Fortunately for this patient, he was able to survive the event and make a full recovery, and is with us today enjoying life with his friends and family. So how could you in your community be positively affected by a CPR and AED awareness class? Because in my community, we're staying alive.